when I was interviewing there before I had taken the role, I saw a prototype for a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of knew, I'm like, this is the game I'm going to work on. Like, I knew I wasn't actually interviewing to work on that game, but I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. I didn't really tell the CEO that, but I knew we had to get what we were working on in front of, first party, but I knew this would have legs. Like, they would just love it. The name of the game had already been determined. It was called Fast Finger. So it was a tactile game where you're playing mazes. It and trying to, it's kind of time based, but you're just trying to get from basically point A to point B without dying. And your finger sort of hypothetically gets sawed off. You get hit by lasers, that kind of stuff. So it's really, the fact that your finger is really part of the game. I thought made it was just so fun, and it's very. The name was just short, alliterative. It was just sort of like art. It came already built, basically. I just had to kind of bring it to market. So the CEO wanted to release it like yesterday, and I was like, well, we haven't talked to Apple, Google, Amazon. We haven't put together like a marketing plan. We haven't soft launched. We haven't done user acquisition. We haven't done any testing. He's like, oh, we don't have budget for that. So, eventually we got about 4 months to work on it.
Yeah.
So, kind of building up trust with the guy who created it, sort of explaining to him like what I brought to the table, how I could get his game to a much wider audience. Eventually kind of translated. And then I was able to bring on a designer I'd worked with at EA who could do just amazing user experience, graphic design, who could really kind of bring the game to life, the packaging, even helping with some of the in-game assets, and then sort of translate that into a really compelling submission package. Also give us, creative for user acquisition, social media, PR, so just kind of get that whole kit together.
Yeah.
And then I started using this game and then 2 or 3 others that were in the pipeline as our story, because we hadn't ever pitched ourselves to first party. So I put together a deck, with a lot of input from the CEO. Here's how I think we should stick with the name of our company. I think we should stick with the name of the game. Made some recommendations on how we should present ourselves, took a picture, all that stuff, kind of got us looking more like a business. And, we went up, and some of these people at Apple and Google I knew from EA or different places. So I just used those relationships, got the game in front of, all 3 relationship teams. I got a lot of good feedback on it, got some feedback that we had to address. So got a little more time to develop the game, a little more time to put it in launch, to sort of build a community around it. And then we did a few other things which were innovative at the time. There weren't a lot of games that were using influencer, so like paid influencer and free marketing. That was pretty new, and a lot of those talent agencies were in LA, and we knew some of those people. So it was very easy to get, because they want to get in your good graces, you want to get in their good graces. So they give you kind of really good deals as a first time customer, but also they want to make games too. Some of them did. So they were giving us primo inventory on the hopes that we would cut an IP with them later from one of their celebrities, which was actually something we wanted to do. So it was kind of like a good marriage.
Win-win, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't have the money to pay the premium prices, so it was great for us. And then another thing we did was the game was made in Unity, so we added every play, which I think they're shutting down now, but it was kind of like Unity's version of Twitch. And what that allowed us to do was, because this game was so visceral, that allowed us to do a video overlay, so people could, like influencers, could basically record their sessions, do commentary, have their face plus the gameplay on a split screen, and then share it on social media or YouTube or wherever. So that really helped, because we were one of the few games that was like, going to get like a big featuring that was using this technology. Like the first party folks weren't, were cool with, but thought it was kind of new, kind of help, with our overall sort of pitch and our go-to-market plan.
Yeah.
So that's the virality of the game, because some other influencers noticed it and then started kind of parroting us and doing the same sort of thing we were doing. So it just sort of like snowballed. And then when we launched, because we got, really good featuring, we had done some targeted user acquisition. We did a little more. We had a PR company boutique one working for us. And then we just kind of like, basically knocked on every single door, metaphorically we could to try to generate buzz about the game. We got 1.6 million installs in the first week.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's way way more than we thought. And when we told our first party reps, they were surprised at how many installs we got. And we became, for a very short period of time, because it's super competitive, the number one puzzle game in 60 countries.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool to be like indie developer, and then you're next to like Candy Crush.
Bam.
And games that are going to just basically essentially push you out of the way soon, but you
were there for a while.
Yeah, and that was kind of the lesson learned, right? We needed more time to really. It was a free to play game. It may have worked better as a paid game. We weren't sure. Maybe we could have done both games, because some puzzle games do paid, light, or free to play. With maybe other paid medium. There's all kinds of ways you can take those games.
Yeah.
Because they're so light, and it's easy to experiment. So we didn't do that. We didn't really have time to do that. And then we didn't have enough content, ready. So the players churned through the levels much faster than we were expecting. We had dark levels, which was like the levels in reverse. So a lot of puzzle games do. So we had that mechanic. We were going to release a level editor, but we just we needed to get updates out every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just hard for us to hit that cadence because we were already in other areas at that point. We were hemorrhaging players because our funnel wasn't. We didn't really have enough time to work on our funnel. We weren't doing enough user acquisition. The featuring was gone. So it was just sort of like this massive waterfall. It was a great lesson in how easily you can achieve success. With timing and sort of the right planning, and then how quickly that can evaporate. And I think that's analogous to pretty much every mobile publisher.
Yeah.
I think when you get to a certain scale, you learn how to sustain that growth.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of ways to do it, but we were kind of learning all that in real time, and it was remarkable. It was a really fun experience.